Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. Children, in the previous class, we were trying to understand about the making of Indian Constitution and the background of the Constituent Assembly. How the elections were conducted to the Constituent Assembly and how the Constituent Assembly got partitioned as the Indian Constituent Assembly and the Pakistan Constituent Assembly. And what was the basis for the making of the Constitution? The objectives resolution, the depressed classes interests, and the statement made by Jawaharlal Nehru in the Constituent Assembly that what interests will be protected through the Constitution. Now let us look today into the debate of the Indian Constitutions in the making of the Indian Constitution. When it got adopted, there was a large discussion which has taken place in the Constituent Assembly which were recorded, and that let us see today. So B.R. Ambedkar passed the draft constitution before the Constituent Assembly in 1948. So we shall read his exact speech today. Okay, while presenting the speech, the Constituent Assembly, the draft constitution, draft in the sense the rough constitution, it's not finalized. Once the Constituent Assembly passes it, it becomes the final constitution. So this draft constitution was put in front of the Constituent Assembly for the discussion. So during this, the proceedings of the Constituent Assembly of India were recorded, and certain parts of the speech are given in the textbook which have been shortened, which have been reduced and given, marked with. And let us see, Ambedkar begins with the process of preparing or presenting the draft constitution in the Constituent Assembly. As the assembly was not elected by universal adult franchisee. Already I told you what is universal adult franchisee, children. The people who are above 18 years of age, if they are given the right to vote, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the religion, irrespective of the economic status, if they are given the right to vote, that is called as universal adult franchise. But this Constituent Assembly is not got elected with the help of with a universal suffrage. So let us steps had been taken to make maximum participation of members and also general public in the making of the constitution here. It was on Thursday, the 9th of November 1948, the draft constitution was presented in front of the Constituent Assembly. The Honorable Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has spoken like this. Mr. President, sir, I introduce the draft constitution as settled by the drafting committee and move that it taken into be consideration. The draft committee was in effect charged with the duty of preparing a constitution. As you all know that the Constituent Assembly has given the charge of preparing the draft constitution to the drafting committee, and the chairman of the drafting committee is B.R. Ambedkar. So being the chairman of the drafting committee, he moved the resolution of draft constitution which has been prepared by the committee in front of the Constituent Assembly to be adopted. So on the reports made by the various committees appointed by it, such as the Union Powers Committee, Union Constitution Committee, the Provincial Constitution Committee, the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, the Advisory Committee on Minorities, and even on the tribal areas, the Constituent Assembly had also directed that in certain matters the provisions contained in the Government of India Act 1935 should be followed. These all were the guidelines given by the Constituent Assembly to the drafting committee. So there are two bodies which existed actually. You should not get confused with that. So one is a Constituent Assembly, the other one is a drafting committee. So all these suggestions were given by the Constituent Assembly to the drafting committee, and the drafting committee will prepare the draft constitution. Draft means it's a rough copy, and this draft constitution will be submitted back to the Constituent Assembly. Now B.R. Ambedkar is presenting this draft constitution in front of the Constituent Assembly, and on the November 4th, 1948, while he was presenting it, he told that he has taken into consideration all kinds of committees' suggestions. The Committee on the Fundamental Rights, the Committee on Minorities, the Committee on Tribals, the Committee on the Central Constitution. These all committees, whatever have suggested, with the help of those, he prepared the constitution. I hope the draft constitution is will be found to have faithfully carried out the directions given to it by all these committees. What he said, the draft constitution is a formidable document. It's a document, it contains 395 articles and 8 schedules. At the time of the making of the constitution, there are 395 articles are there and 8 schedules are there. And you find out how many articles are present in the constitution presently, because constitution can be amended, okay, more than 100 times constitution has been amended. So find out how many articles are present presently and how many schedules are there. But at the time of the draft constitution, 395 articles are there and 8 schedules are there. And it must be admitted that the constitution of the no country could be found to be so lengthy and so bulky as the draft constitution of India itself. So that's the reason why Indian constitution is called as one of the bulkiest and lengthiest constitution in the world. The draft constitution has been before the public for more than 8 months for discussion, because what should be implemented and what should not be implemented, the public can give the opinion. For that reason, it was put in front of the public for their opinion. During this long time, friends, critics and adversaries, many of them had more than sufficient time to express their reactions to the provisions made in the draft constitution. Now, we will see how our constitution draws the experiences of other nations, because many other nations' constitutions were read by Ambedkar and his committee, and those were also provided in the constitution. In this presentation, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairperson, highlights the process of borrowing from other constitutions, what we have borrowed from other constitution. As we read through, we try to identify the institutional structure of the parliamentary government provided in the draft. And remember that this presentation was being made 1 year after the independence. So very early after the independence, very early, we have drafted our own constitution, and we shall read the highlights what we have borrowed from the other constitutions also during that period. One of the most important institutional structure is a parliamentary system that India has adopted from the Britain. So if this book, if this constitution is put in the hands of a constitutional law student, and he firstly asks two important questions. He asks two important questions. First is what is the form of the government that is envisaged in the constitution? What is the form of the government that is present in the, that is going to be written in the constitution? Secondly, what is the form of the constitution itself? The two questions which a constitutional law student will ask is, first is what is the form of the government? Second one is what is the form of the constitution itself? So in the draft constitution, there is placed at the head of the Indian Union a functionary who is called as the President of India. The title of this functionary reminds one of the President of the United States. When we say that President is the head of the Union government, then automatically we remember that it represents the President of America or President of United States. But beyond identity of names, there is nothing common between the United States President and the Indian President. So it's common between the form of the government prevalent in America and the form of government proposed under the draft constitution. The American form of government is called as the presidential form of government, whereas the draft constitution proposes another form of government called as the parliamentary form of government. These two are different fundamentally. So the first question answer is, what is the form of the government? So the answer is the form of the government is parliamentary, but the head of the government will be president. The name of the president is common with the President of America, but the forms of the government are not same between America and India. The names are same, but the form of government is different. Here Prime Minister is the head of the government, whereas President continues and more powerful in the United States. Here Prime Minister is all powerful. So this difference Ambedkar tried to explain in the Constituent Assembly. Under the presidential system of America, the president is the chief head of the executive, but the administration is vested in him, as you all know that. Under the draft constitution, the president occupies the same position as the king under the English constitution. That means like the Britishers had the queen as a head, but the prime minister is more powerful in Britain. Same like English constitution, here the president will occupy the position of the king of Britain, but not as the president of America. He is the head of the state, but not of the executive. So he represents the nation but does not rule the nation. He represents the nation, but he does not rule the nation. He is the symbol of the nation, and his position in the administration is that of a ceremonial device, like a rubber stamp. For namesake, he is the president, but no power lies in his hands. He is only a ceremonial device or a seal by which the nation's decisions are made, but he doesn't carry any power in his hands. Under the American Constitution, the president runs the government, and under him, the secretaries and in charge of different departments will be present. And in like manner, the president of Indian Union will have under him ministers in charge of different departments of administration. Here again there is a fundamental difference between the two. The president of India or the president of United States is not bound to accept any advice tendered by these secretaries, but whereas the Indian president has to bind by the advices given by the cabinet, by the ministers. The president of the Indian Union will be generally bound by the advice given by the ministers. He can do nothing contrary to their advice. He cannot do anything against to their advice. But whereas President of America can do anything against to the advices given by the secretaries of the department. The President of the United States can dismiss his secretaries at any point of time, but the President cannot dismiss the ministers as long as they enjoy the majority in the Lok Sabha. So this is the fundamental difference between the President of America and the President of India. That's the reason why we call the Indian government, the form of the government, as the parliamentary form of government. In the next class, we shall see what is the form of the Constitution itself. Thank you, children.